Good morning, good day to you, as usual, whenever and wherever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe and the Spaceship Institute. As usual, we are back and we try to understand more in the riddles of the creation and the created, and how from creation we become created, and what is the mechanism as we dig deeper in the knowledge of the creation. One of the most important parts of the creation and created is connection link, as we talked last week, in how interaction of the fields, amalgamation of the fields, leads to creation. In the world of science and in the world of mystery of science of today, we have always considered the interaction of two matter leading to division, leading to creation of fractions and frictions and the rest of it. In nuclear industry, we say if we hit nucleus, or we call it energy transfer or nuclear decay, leading to fragments and release of energies, or shrapnels if you hit a matter with another matter. And on the other hand, we have made it the holy grail of the science, what happened when we hit them together and they become bigger or release energies to become something else. In a way, we call it a fusion. Fusion has become a holy grail, and in the past few weeks we've seen Chinese being flagged as passing the understanding, and they have managed to hold on to the fusion for a few more seconds than the others, and they have come up with all these crazy ideas of needing what we call all sorts of equipment with a high levels to create that fusion. And as I always said, fusion is a dream. The way the man has taken it, that will never come true. The reality is that the life of the man, the life of the universe, is made out of fusion. In the matter state of the man, creating fusion and hoping and releasing megawatts and gigawatts of energy, so much temperature of the center of the sun, shows the lack of understanding of the world of science of today. If you look at it, if you understand the world of fusion in the energy level, it's much, much simpler than creating fusion in the matter state. Ray of the light of the creator in its simplicity, in interacting with the division of itself, in the fusion of plasmas and energies, has led to creation of everything else. It's not that energy of the creator or magnetic field in motion, it was so powerful, and now as it's dividing, it becomes matter. It's absolutely the opposite way. In releasing its fields in its environment, and the interaction of these fields with each other, and the amalgamation of the fields, fusion of the fields as an energy, has led to creation of even the hydrogen, even the first neutron, as what we call it, and the rest. What this brings to front and for most of the knowledge seekers, is the understanding of the what I call fusion of fields, fusion of energies in motion, which leads to creation of the next level. And understanding how the energy of the plasma needs to be added in a specific way that it leads to creation of higher order magnetic field strength collection of fields. It has to be understood by the world of science that the neutron, which is the highest collection of the fields, is the maximum amount of energy in this universe which can be as one package. Today's teaching is for the world of science, even though as knowledge seekers you hear and hear me and understand part of it. But the teaching of today is for the future scientists, for those who come to explore the universe and come to understand the truth, the understanding and the working of the universe, as today this knowledge is abstract, is not there, it cannot be understood. Even maybe some of you understand, and the futures of the science of the space technology of the man will appreciate the teaching of today as a what I call the first brick on the knowledge, understanding of the working of the universe. What does this mean? If you look right across the whole structure of the science of the man, look at as a neutron, electron, a proton, an atom, molecules, and everything else which goes in it. Be it gold, be it hydrogen, be it plutonium, be it other elements which the man will discover in the future, which is not in the spectrum of the energies of the today of this planet, but on other positions, man will find elements with 500 neutrons and 10,000 electrons and the rest of it. But if you put all of them together, the heaviest elements man ever finds and the lightest element man will ever find cannot be more than the energy compacts of a neutron as a fundamental basis of what I call creation of matter. What does this mean? You look at, let's say, helium. You have so many electrons, so many neutrons, so many protons. Again, neutron is a fundamental on the highest level energy. The rest is the packages of the collection of the energy of the 2 or 3 or 10 neutrons and electrons and protons. So the fundamental element, the fundamental what we call plasma, the maximum amount any element in this universe can carry is not more than what is in the neutron. So man of the science have to find the process of the creation in what is within the neutron. And if they don't understand this, we have the dilemmas of today. The cornerstone of the teaching from the first book, which has been laid down as the fundamental of the science of the new space technology, is neutron, collection of interaction of the fields. In a way, nothing can be bigger than, nothing can be more effective than a neutron. Because you put 20 neutrons together, 100 neutrons together, and then the space gap they create leads to accommodation of the protons that they can give a higher energy to a lower energy. Then in that transfer of the energy from neutron to proton allows for the electron to contain and maintain its motion and everything else. What does this mean? For the first time in the world of nuclear physics, for the first time in atomic physics, we have to understand where the energy of an atom comes from. A fundamental atom which contains an electron, a proton, and a neutron. The actual energy of atom comes from transfer of the energy from neutron, higher field content, to the proton. And what is left of this interaction, electron collects and allows it to create its motion. This is the fundamental engine of the operation of an atomic structure. And this is what the world of science up to today has not understood, does not even exist in the vocabulary of the man, science, and technology of today. And when man understands this principle of the creation of the third energy in a way, in principle, by interaction of the fields of the two energy packs, then we understand how electron is created, how electron is maintained, and how electron can, in a way, move around its principal element. And when we have a system like a hydrogen, which is only in what we call neutron, proton, and electron, or we go back into the isotopes of it, the same principle applies. When you have a proton and an electron, we call it the basic hydrogen. The energy of the hydrogen comes from the center, from the proton. When we talk about deuterium, then this process is totally different, because now whatever released from neutron, which is absorbed by the proton, and the interaction of the two fields with each other is collected by the electron, which gives it the dimension of its motion. Then you understand even why we come to the heavier elements and we find more neutrons, because more energy is needed to maintain, to interact with the protons, to position the electrons in the what we call distance from the center. And this is what fundamentally the world of science have not understood. The principle behind the motion, distance, position of an electron in respect to its nucleus. And once man understands this, man will unravel the mystery of the creation. But for that, man needs to understand the inner structure of the neutron, which comes from the division, interaction, fraction and friction within it, and with interaction with its environment outside. If one day man extends the knowledge of looking at the structure, energy packs of a neutron, what man sees is what man sees on the surface of the sun. Bursting of energies, continuous motion of the fields, and there's no difference. When I look at a neutron, as a nuclear physicist, I don't see something which is just there. I see the surface of the sun. The same interactions, the same commotion of the motion of the fields, the same surface. And as we see the way the energy of the sun is released in bursts and a continuous basis that interacts with the earth and the rest of the solar system, this is what the neutron does within the center of a nucleus. And when you understand this, that the division and interaction of these fields emitted from the neutron will lead to creation of other structures outside it, then man comes to understand more about the world of creation. In the simple physics of today, they show us a proton and a neutron and an electron, and this is an atom. In fact, this is far from reality. If you look at the neutron as the sun, as the center of energy, and proton as the earth, and then you look at the electron as the moon, what do we see? Is our atmosphere clear? Is there nothing between Earth and the sun and the Earth and the moon? We see cosmic dust. We see meteorites. We see elements in the fields moving across the solar system. And it's the same within the structure of the atomic structure. And these fractions and these meteorites at the atomic level is exactly the same as what we have in the solar system. And it's the same with our solar system in respect to the other solar system and in respect to central galaxy in the center of universe. Our solar system, in interaction with another solar system, in their magnetic field and the strength, create the cosmic dust, create the creation of the fields and matter in between, that most of these are an energy pack. This is what we call viruses. And this is the whole discussion of today, which means these energy packs within the structure of the galaxies, the structure of solar systems, the structure of the atom is all the same. Once man understand the principle of creation of the fields packages, and then understand that these amalgamation, fusion of energy leads to the condition of a higher energy packs, which in turn man calls it from hydrogen to gold and plutonium, is the process of understanding of the creation. We didn't rain energy from outside to come in to create the matter. Within the energy within radiating out and attraction, we create the matter. This is why in the fundamental understanding of creation, we always said the creator is in the center. But on the other hand, we say is love reigns upon us. Once man understand the interaction of the fields within and outside leads to creation of two different conditions, one is higher than the other, which comes a plasma to the inner and not to the outer as a matter, then man understands the process of the creation of the true fusion from the interaction of the fields of the same within the center. The process of the creation, the process that from the creator to created. As I understand, and as explained as a nuclear physicist, as a plasma physicist, as a man who understands the process of the interaction of the fields of the smallest to the universe, to the unicos, it becomes important for what I call the scientists of today and tomorrow to walk away from fusion matter. If they in reality want to get to the energy fields of the universe. The energy within one neutron is more than all that is in all the nuclear fusions of the man and nuclear power stations of the man of today. But man has not learned how to unravel it. Man has not understood the process of it. Man has not understood that neutron with the fields inside it interacts and creates its own matter. And with the stupidity of the science of today, they call it up clock, down clock, and everything else they like to. But what man sees in the structure of the what we call a solar system is what happens within the neutron. Interaction of the fields leads to creation of the fields, and that interaction of the fields in turn releasing energies leads to the creation and dimension of the motion of the proton, and then itself by interacting with itself leads to creation of its child and maintaining the life of the child, which is the proton. Then you understand the totality of the science of the creation and the science of the future have to look within the structure of the neutron to understand the structure of the creation and the creator. What does this mean? Inside the neutron, the elements which are created from the lower level energy interaction of itself with itself which in the fusion of energy, they allow the creation manifestation of the matter state with their interaction with energy leads to release of the fields of the energy which maintains the life of the neutron. A question which I put to my professors and scientists years ago, and maybe some of you as knowledge seekers can answer today, is one fact. Is there any difference in the temperature of the surface of a neutron and the surface of the sun? This is not the riddle. This understanding the science. In fact, the true energy surface, not the matter surface of a neutron and a sun is exactly the same. What matter field condition appears due to interaction of the field by its self fields leads to creation of heat. And this is where the man has gone wrong and sees that the center of the sun is 100 million degrees and 1 billion degrees, and all the fallacies as the man did when he said the earth is the center of the universe. Man is physical and looks at the matter state, the world of creation. The principal order of creation comes from the transfer, interaction of the, not the matter state, but the fields and energies. This is why the Chinese are spending billions and the Americans say they're going to do this and that, because they, as usual, look at the physical appearance, but they don't understand the knowledge inside. If scientists of the future understand this, they have, in a way, jumped by thousands of years in understanding more about the knowledge of creation. And as long as they spend billions looking at the surface, they will never understand the true work of the fusion in the energy level, what we call magnetic field in motion, which has no temperature. This is why the air above Earth is freezing, because it has no temperature. It's a plasmatic field. What they call minus 173, the zero, is the temperature working of the what we call universe. Interaction of the fields does not create heat. It creates clusters of other plasmas of different order depending on the gravitational magnetic field plasma strength within the area. If scientists understand this in the future, then they understand how to handle energy packs on their body, what we call viruses. The viruses of plasma as a magnetic field in motion, when the man travels with the dimension of the soul, is 1,000 times worse, millions of times worse by the magnitude than the viruses which affect the physicality of the man today on this planet. Because there is no matter state, is the principle of the creation which interacts with the matching field, the strength of itself in a different strength order. If the science of today, as I've said many times, understand that the viruses are energy packs which attach to matter state, which is the molecular structure of the amino acid of the man, and then we see how they kill, and then those who never understand this create the vaccines and create all sorts of rubbish with it, understand how to handle the viruses as an energy pack in the packages of interaction with another package of the fields which the maximum energy of is a neutron, then man will be able to handle any virus anywhere in the universe, even within the structure of the creator, which is part of the creation. In the world of science, it has to be understood. You cannot be bigger than the energy pack of a neutron. And then if you understand this, this is the limitation of the manifestation in the matter state, not the limitation in the structure of the world of the creation. That virus energy at the end has to attach itself to one which matches within the neutron. If man becomes wise, he'll use this transfer of energy for its own benefit as food, as everything else he needs to survive in the span of the universe. We have seen this. We have seen this structure in the corona crisis, and I explained that many times before, where the energy of the virus in depleting to the level of the energy of the amino acid in interaction with its principal energy, which is its neutron, becomes food for the body and recovery. This is why those of you who use ganses recovered so fast or maintain your recovery, because in a way you chopped it up, you use the energy of the virus as a food. That's all you did. That's what your ganses did. Because your body has a physical interaction and the ganses are in the energy pack on your surface. They just gobbled it up. They just broke it up to pieces. It used as energy. And this is why when we used the what we call the ganses in the corona, we saw two temperatures. One, when the body was affected, and when the ganses took the energy and the what we call matter state damaged cells came to recover, and we saw the second rise in temperature, physical recovery. And that point, when the physical recovery came in, the energy from what you put as ganses in interaction, draining the energy of the plasma of the virus, became the food and you recovered. There's no need to take God knows what and take so what. In the coming year, we release the effect of the energy packs of the what we call specific energy plasma that will replace the present what we call injections and everything else which is man has created but not understanding the whole structure. You don't in the future need to immunize your child for this virus and that virus. You understand the process, you create the energy packs which can handle the virus. Does not matter what age and which in the world parts of the universe you are, and you are handling your life. In a matter state, as a body of the man, in a matter state, in another position as a body of an alien, or within the structure of the transfer of your what we call energy center as a soul. If man understands this, he'll find out that in the universe, the most biggest packages of energy, or what you call viruses, are actually the food resources. These are the what we call the structure of life. You tap into it, there are reservoirs of energy, and as their size goes, as a strength field goes, they have enough to supply the whole of the created in their environment. Then we see the viruses as energy source and not as a matter of what we call damage, death, and the rest of it. But you have to understand, the plasma of a virus, energy pack, cannot interact not more than what is within the neutron, which means energy of a neutron has enough capability to stand the total package energy strength of a plasma of a virus. Does not matter where in the universe. The whole fundamental understanding is that a neutron as an energy pack does not get gobbled up or get delivered into the plasma of the virus. But in understanding it, it depletes its energy. He absorbs energy. And the interaction of the two, in a way, is like the sun and the earth. Creates lights, creates energy, fractions of energy that the body can take as food. This is the cornerstone of feeding the soul of the man in travels in space, even the man in a physical condition. Then if you understand this, understand the principle of the creation of amalgamation of the fields, what we call fusion of the plasmas as an energy, not fusion of plasmas as what man is trying to do to amalgamate to whatever, neutrons, electrons, whatever they imagine, to create heat and energy. Man is eating food by turning it around his head and trying to feed the same mouth, because he has not understood the principle of feeding itself straight. This is the principle behind many operations of the Keshe Foundation in coming months in the Friday teachings every month. Training your body to tap into universal energy through the structure of the neutron, which in part is within the plasma energy of your body, which is the calcium based. Man will find out in the deeper space, the only time which will run into solidification is when it's what we call neutron energy plasma matches calcium, when he travels in a physical dimension. Because in a way, goes back to the teaching that 80% of your life is your existence. In a very recent pictures, which we have seen from the world of science, confirms and brings this back to total reality. And that is, man can live, elements can live, and then solidify at a given field strength. What does this mean? In the future of time, in the future of expansion of the science of the man, man will come to understand one principle, and that is, man needs to understand the creation and created within each other. And what is important for mankind to understand in the field of science is, in fact, to understand the process of conversion from the energy into matter state. But understanding within the physical body of the man, you have a reference point of inertia of matter. You call it your bone structure, you call it the calcium, you call it whatever else you need to call, but in fact, you cannot escape from it. Then the biggest problem for man to survive in space is to get rid of, or in a way change the field of strength, that nothing changes into matter state condition inertia. There's a picture somewhere on the internet that explains this very clearly. And for you to understand, I put it up on the screen to see. I've shown this to a few knowledge seekers very recently because it's time for you to understand. If you look at this picture, what do you see? Even within and above the central line, what I call in this area. Let me change it that you can see it easier. If I move this and show you this, as I've said to knowledge seekers before, what do you see? And what do you understand from this picture in understanding the totality? The yellow part is a bone of the man. This yellow part, what I call the yellow part, is your bone. And the interesting about this is that you have to understand how this has come. And what you see as these spots, you see many of them. These are energy packs which have converted to matter state through the calcium calcification. The bone is pulling them in. And in that position, the bone has become the inertia mass. This picture is actually, for those of you who've seen it or shown before, or you see it, this is a person who has eaten pork, uncooked. And in that process has picked up the what we call bodies of, or parasites of what's in the meat into his body. And in these parasites moving through the lining of the stomach, but getting into the muscle tissue through lymph, they have changed into matter state and they don't exist. But what you see as a white spot is the calcium of their body calcification. So in a way, every white spot you see on this is the matter state of a parasite, which is calcium has left within the tissue of the man. You see this even in the bone marrow. When they died, you see a white spot. So every spot you see on this picture is one man calcification or one parasite calcification. And when this sits in your brain, you get Alzheimer's. When it sits in your brain, you get Parkinson. When this calcification sits further, then it creates other problems. This is what has been written in the holy books. Don't eat pork, because it carries a virus which leads to this. And the knowledge given to those you call man of wisdom or a wise man understood some of this problem. And this is in fact what's going to happen to you in space. If you don't understand, and in the process of creation, you become a plasma in a space, and these matter state fields, inertia created within you, then it creates mayhem within the structure of the plasma of what we call the central energy of the man, the soul of the man. So the viruses are not exclusivity of the matter state. The viruses even exist in the energy states, and depends when they manifest themselves in the matter state within the plasma. Man has to understand this, that he can survive the span of the universe in the matter state of the body or in the matter state of the energy we call the soul of the man. And in a way, what you see as these white spots, when it transferred into the energy of the man in space, and then in the right condition, turned up to be the disease of the man to kill. And in fact, the operation of the plasma of the soul, what it will interact with in the future. The soul of the man carries this energy. And this is the reason why we want to change the man before we take the man into space as what we call part of the family. This is the disease which man carries in the structure of the field of the plasma of his emotion, and in the structure of the film of the plasma of its physicality, and the soul of physicality which has interacted as energy parts into the soul of the man, and the soul of the man in space has created this problem. And this is the reason we teach to change the man, to get rid of these killing systems, which is inherently as emotion sits within the structure of his existence. In understanding this, in understanding the totality of the creation, man should be able to understand about everything in the world of creation. The energies for creation come within by what we call amalgamation of the plasmatic fields, and they come from out from the interaction of the plasmatic fields. In the center of the neutron, we don't have in energy packs fission, but we have fusion, where fission sits outside in the matter state. And the world of science has to understand this. One of the main principles of this, and I've explained before, is that within the plasma, we don't see any AC, we don't see any frequency, we don't see any vibration, as the interactions are at the energy level, where the frequency comes outside when the interaction of the fields creates that, interacts with the matter state. In the reactors we run, in the laboratory, when the dimension of the plasma which creates motion and field, we don't see any frequency, we only see AC. And when at a point comes to confirm interaction and existence with the matter outside, we see frequencies. This is the hidden knowledge that the man has to understand. And once men understand this, they don't need multi-trillion, billion investments in what I call fusion technology. As I've said before, the difference between the man of peace is development of the man. And the man of war always is in conflict and it loses to itself. I said very recently, and I repeat again for those who don't understand. They tell us why China is progressing so fast and why America has been doldrums and God knows everything else with the wars. China spends its energy in developing a nation. America spends its energy and finance in creating wars. Inside, look good, but dilapidated. The other looks good from inside and the outside does not understand why. It's the behavior that we have to understand. And that behavior comes within Taoism of the Chinese mentality. And this is how the soul of the man works. From outside, we look at China and we say, look, they build this, they build that, because they don't invest in war. They invest in peace for the nation. And it's the same within the plasma of the man. And it's the target of all the teachings that elevate the soul of the man to become peaceful within. And if you understand this, you understand the totality of the creation. What you spend inside brings elevation. What you try to get to outside brings friction and manifestation of the what we call conformation of existence. And the creator always looks within because it's more important than what's outside. And that energy and that structure, there is no way, nowhere in this universe you'll find any energy higher than energy of a neutron. Amalgamation of the fields of neutrons lead to creation of matter state outside, but within is strong enough to hold on to all the creation. It holds on and deals with all the created too. An electron and a proton and a neutron in an atom, or that neutron in a stone, or that neutron in a planetary system, still is neutron. But it holds its position because it's strong enough within its strength to hold on that the base does not collapse, that the rest does not disappear. When you read with what I explained go back to the first book, then you look at the fundamental plasma, a neutron, in a totally different way. And then when you read the book again, understanding this, the essence of the creation, through the fields of the creator, will open up to you. And I keep on saying, you understand from my teaching according to your intelligence. Now I've raised your intelligence to understand a bit more. Go and read the book number 1 again and see what the mystery of creation is hidden in its writing. There is nothing in the universe bigger, stronger, containing everything it needs than a neutron. But look at the energy and not look at the matter. Understand the fundamental fields and their interaction that led to its creation and how it maintains itself. If you want to understand how this creation is created, it's a very beautiful way to do it. But observe the energy, not the matter. Make yourself a liquid dough and boil some water. Put the dough in a sieve and let it drip in the boiling water or in the hot oil, and see how little balls appear, all the same size, all the same way. And this is how the love of creator is created. The boiling water is the universe, and that dough is the love of creator, and how it drips, and all is the same across. Because that sieve all has exactly the same dimension whole. And that whole is the size that the field, the size of a neutron, can exist within this universe. And in essence, an energy has to be the same in all the universes, otherwise one will dominate the others. Even though the size of the neutrons in different universes could be different, but in energy, what we call compactness and content, they're all the same. But according to the environment of the universe, they run on a different field radiation, magnetic energy fields, and that's the only difference between the universes. And once the man understands this, transmutation across the unicos become as easy as walking down the road. The fundamental principle of understanding the structure of the neutron and how it, by transfer of its fields, creates, maintains and supports, then you understand why even a neutron splits and it goes through its decay. And what does that decay means? Decay forced or decay within? Because now I can, the smaller me is the same as me and it grows to be me. When a neutron splits in a matter state, it's another neutron and a proton, and the fraction is the electrons. You don't get another neutron coming taking its place. That new less of in time gains enough energy by the interaction of to become the neutron, and it contains exactly as the mother. I explained this once before and maybe understood in a way. If you get an iron which carries magnetic fields as a magnet, you cut the magnet in pieces, each piece has its same strength. So is the splitting of a neutron. Still, does not matter how you cut a plasma, carries the energy fields of the fundamental principle of its structure. And then if you understand this, you come to a point as if this neutron is what it is and contains everything, and the interaction of its fields leads to creation of manifestation of what we see, then aren't we all as the being, all the stars within one neutron, what we call the creator? And then it brings one fundamental principle, even that itself has to have a common within unicos, within the structure of the neutron of all the universes, and all has to be of the same common denominator, feel the strength as the creator, that it can stand the position and distance, it can stand the love and the creation. I hope the science of the future understand the knowledge of today, that with it allows them to become the man of unicos. As I said, there shall be no more teachers. And with this teaching, we complete the teachings of the whole lot. But for those who are nuclear physicists of the man, if they understand this, they walk from the shambles of the matter state, billions of dollars investments to create a fusion in this heat of the center of the sun, because they never understood the center of the sun has the same temperature and conditions as the center of the earth, as the center of a neutron. I made man in the image of myself. I made the universe in the image of myself. The creator is not hot-tempered, and it doesn't sweat and create heat as we see on the surface of the sun. As within is as beautiful as itself, the energy fields of the neutron. If you understand the structure of the neutron as a nuclear physicist me, you will marvel in how the creator has fooled the man to think he is the clever of the all. And in fact, as long as a man follows the fusion pattern of today, it shows his absolute stupidity and the lack of knowledge of understanding the creation and the creator and the work of the universe. Beauty of the creation is in coolness and in calmness, not in its eruption and in its behavior energetic. Man looks at the heat of the sun, creates nothing but fallacies. The creator looks at within the sun and creates the beauty of the creation. Man is physical, creator is a field plasma. I hope the scientists of future understand the teaching of today. As I said, we teach the full spectrum from now on, that the man becomes a man of the universe and understand the totality.